Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am so happy you are here today because we are going to talk about one of the most important and honestly, one of the most life-changing steps in your language learning journey. How to stop translating in your head and finally start thinking in English. I know exactly how it feels when you're trying to speak, but your brain feels like a slow computer trying to translate every single word from your native language into English. It is exhausting. It creates long pauses in your conversation, and it often makes you feel less confident than you actually are. But today, I want to tell you that thinking in English is not a magic power that only advanced speakers have. It is a skill, a habit that you can build starting right now, regardless of your current level. The biggest mistake most learners make is waiting until they are fluent to try to think in English. They think that one day a switch will flip in their brain and suddenly everything will be English. But the truth is, the switch doesn't flip by itself. You have to push it. You have to train your brain just like you train a muscle at the gym. Think about your native language for a second. When you see a cup of coffee, you don't think of a definition. You just see the object and the concept of coffee is immediately there. Our goal is to create that same direct connection between the world and the English language, cutting out the middleman, which is your native language. When you remove that middleman, your speaking becomes faster, your listening becomes clearer, and you start to feel like the English version of yourself is finally coming to life. So, how do we actually do this? The first and easiest way to start is by naming the objects around you. This might sound too simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Throughout your day, whenever you're walking through your house or sitting at your desk, start labeling things in English in your mind. Look at your phone and think. Phone, look at the window and think. Window, don't translate it. Just name it. If you do this consistently, your brain starts to associate the physical object directly with the English word. You can even take this a step further by using small sticky notes. Put them on your mirror, your fridge, or your laptop. When you see the word mirror every time you brush your teeth, your brain stops needing to translate. It just knows. This is the foundation of building a direct link between your reality and the language you are learning. Once you are comfortable naming objects, the next step is to start narrating your day. This is what I like to call the silent narrator technique. Imagine you are the main character in a movie and there is a narrator describing everything you're doing. You don't have to speak out loud if you are around other people, but do it in your head. As you wake up, think to yourself, I am waking up now. I'm going to the kitchen. I'm making a cup of tea. It smells good. I need to find my keys. By doing this, you are moving from simple words to full sentences. You are practicing grammar, verb tenses, and sentence structure in a natural way without the pressure of a real conversation. Since nobody is listening, you don't have to worry about making mistakes. If you don't know the word for kettle, that's okay. You can just say the thing for boiling water and look up the word later. The point is to keep the flow of English going in your mind. Another very important habit is to stop using bilingual dictionaries. I know they are helpful when you're a total beginner, but as soon as you can, you should switch to an English to English dictionary. When you look up a word and see the definition in your native language, you are reinforcing the habit of translation. But when you read the definition in English, you are staying within the English zone Learn how to explain concepts using words you already know. This is a vital skill for real-life conversations. If you are talking to someone and you forget a specific word, you won't freeze if you have practiced explaining things in English. You will simply use other words to describe what you mean, and the conversation will keep moving forward smoothly. Let's talk about the translation trap for a moment. Most people try to build English sentences by taking a sentence in their native language and replacing the words one by one. This is why many learners sound a bit unnatural or stiff. Every language has its own rhythm, its own idioms, and its own way of seeing the world. Instead of translating, try to learn chunks of language. A chunk is a group of words that naturally go together. For example, instead of learning the words take, care, and of separately, learn them as one piece. Take care of. When you learn in chunks, your brain doesn't have to work as hard to assemble a sentence. You just grab the whole piece and put it in. This makes your thinking process much faster because you are processing ideas instead of individual words. I also want to encourage you to change the language of your digital life. Think about how many times a day you look at your phone. If your phone is in your native language, you are missing out on hundreds of mini lessons every day. Change your phone, your social media, and your email settings to English. At first, it might feel a little frustrating, but you already know where the buttons are. You know that the blue button means post or send. By seeing these words in English constantly, they become part of your natural environment. You stop learning them and you start using them. This is a huge part of immersing yourself in the language without even traveling to another country. Speaking of immersion, you need to surround your ears with the sound of English as much as possible. Listen to podcasts, watch videos, or have the news on in the background while you're cooking or cleaning. You don't always have to listen intensely. Even passive listening helps your brain get used to the sounds, the intonation, and the natural flow of the language. The more English you put into your head, the more English will naturally want to come out. It's like a cup of water. If you keep pouring in English, eventually it will overflow into your thoughts and your speech. Now, let's try a more advanced exercise. Thinking in scenarios. This is something I still do when I learn new things. Before you have a meeting, a phone call, or even a simple trip to the grocery store, imagine the conversation in English in your head. Imagine what the other person might say and how you would respond. If you are going to order a coffee, visualize the interaction. Hello, I'd like a medium latte, please. Sure. Would you like any sugar? No, thank you. By practicing these scenarios in your mind, you are preparing your brain for the real event. You are building those neural pathways so that when the time comes to speak, your brain already feels like it has done this before. It reduces anxiety and makes thinking in English feel much more natural. One of the most beautiful things about thinking in English is that it allows you to express different parts of your personality. Many people say they feel like a slightly different person when they speak another language. This is because you aren't just changing words. You are changing your perspective. When you stop translating, you stop trying to fit your native self into an English box. You start to find your English voice. It's okay if that voice is simpler at first. It's okay if you make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are a sign that you are pushing your boundaries. Every time you catch yourself translating and you consciously stop and try to Find the English thought instead. You have won a small battle. Remember, this is a journey. You won't start thinking in English 24/7 overnight. It starts with 5 minutes a day, then 10, then an hour. Eventually, you will have those amazing moments where you realize you've been thinking in English for the last 10 minutes without even trying. Or better yet, you'll have a dream in English. That is always a fantastic sign that your subconscious mind is finally embracing the language. Don't be hard on yourself if you find it difficult at first. Your brain is used to the easy path, your native language, and you are asking it to take a new, slightly harder path. But the more you walk that new path, the easier and wider it becomes. I want to remind you that you don't need to know every single word in the dictionary to think in English. You can think in English with only 500 words. You can think in English with 1,000 words. It's not about how much you know. It's about how you use what you know. Focus on being functional. Focus on the flow. If you don't know a word, don't let it stop your thought. Describe it, use a synonym, or just keep going. The goal is communication and internal thought, not perfection. As we wrap up this talk, I want you to pick one thing from today. Maybe it's naming objects. Maybe it's the silent narrator technique. Or maybe it's changing your phone settings. Just pick one and start today. Don't wait until tomorrow. The sooner you start training your brain to skip the translation, the sooner you will feel that incredible freedom of truly speaking and living in English. You have all the tools you need right inside your head. It's just about giving yourself permission to use them. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I really hope these tips help you break through that translation wall and find your flow. If you found this helpful, please make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and allows me to keep making content for you. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the notifications so you never miss a new video or podcast episode. I would also love to hear from you in the comments. What is the biggest challenge you face when trying to think in English? Or do you have a special trick that helps you? Let's start a conversation down there and help each other out. Keep practicing, keep thinking, and I will see you in the next one.